So the last two deals that we're talking about here, conservatively, let's say 50 on that, we're looking at $150,000, utilizing zero of your own capital, obviously going out there and utilizing the resources that Pink provides. Obviously, you're a big part of bringing that to the table. We certainly appreciate that. Leaning on the corporate, leaning on the coaches to put these deals together. $150,000, and obviously the year is just getting going here. So let's talk about 2022 for you. And guys, if you want to be a part of an organization like this, you want to go out there and get the results that Austin and his team are getting. You want to dip your toe in the water for real estate, start to create generational wealth. Go ahead and email pink@VIPfinancialeducation.com. That's pink with the color at VIPfinancialeducation.com. In the subject line, put Pink Conversation and the body, first, last name, and the best number to reach you at. And go ahead and smash that thumbs up button if you want us to continue to bring people like Austin here that are obviously live testimonials that are getting tremendous results with Pink right now. Now, talk about corporate support, because I know that originally, the executive lease purchase is what really brought Pink to the dance, and has been a wildly successful no cash, no credit investment strategy for a number of years here at this point. But the business has pivoted into that kind of Swiss Army knife approach where there's multiple strategies now that can be taken down. Can you kind of talk about what that transition has looked like, how that's, and if it has helped open doors for you in your market that otherwise you wouldn't have taken a look at, if you don't mind speaking to our audience on that?
Yeah. So firstly, want to say that I, huge proponent, love the ELP program. I like it more than some people, in our other people like me in our company, but I'm still that's our first go-to. Every call we're making, we're pushing that. And obviously there might be some slight variations depending on the deal, the house, the condition, but we always try to look to use that first and foremost. And then obviously we pivot from there. But yeah, having different options is a game changer. I know one of the main ones that Scott kind of coined earlier in the year of the pandemic was the FSBO flip, which was, kind of our take on a retail wholesale, which was a great pivot, especially with the market moving really quickly. It's hard to lock properties up through our program, especially properties that are pretty, right? That's our main option, is to go after pretty homes. So that was a great pivoting strategy. Again, not really having to make any cash, right, to utilize that strategy. And then now locking up capital partners in multiple areas. I mean, that's a game changer. Being able to offer cash offers, whether you're buying it to do a flip, whether you're buying it to buy and hold, whether you're kind of doing a hybrid. I know one of the main reasons that I pursued this company originally was not like fix and flips, doing wholesales, buy and hold. That's all great, and I love it. Obviously, I'm pursuing it, and as a company, we're pursuing it. But one of the main things I saw a lack of was like, man, our ELP program is so great. It's a great program. There's such a great need for it on the buyer side. But unfortunately, especially because the market we've been in, it's just so hard. Like there's not enough properties that we have to sell homes to those people, right? You never have enough. There's always more buyers than there are properties available to sell through. And there always will be. But what I was like, we need another way that we can acquire properties and sell them through the program. And that's what I was able to work out with RCN Capital, basically a 12 to 18 month window, leveraging their finances along with ours, where we can lock the property up in a special loan program that allows us to either buy it as is and just turn around and sell it through the ELP, or we can even rehab it slightly and then sell it through the ELP. So that's a big game changer as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. And just as a longtime investor myself, when you can walk into a market, when you can walk into really any situation or any lead that really, gets on your radar or crosses your desk, if you will, and within a few minutes, you can, just based on some simple math and just obviously having that knowledge, break a deal down and know that you've got multiple ways to get involved in it. You've got multiple exit strategies, either in the near term or to make the long dollar on it. To me, that's sexy, guys. I think real estate is just one of those things that's fascinating because there's not always just a right or a wrong answer. It's not always just a plug and a play. It's using critical thinking, using experience, creativity to break these deals down that ultimately allow you to make the money. So you touched on the ELP. You're a big proponent of that. I am as well. But I do like the other strategies. If you don't mind, just a couple recent deals you've done, if you could give one, just a straight up standard kind of executive lease purchase, and then maybe talk about one of these other creative deals that has now been really bolted onto your model.
So I'll just say the house is in Fayetteville, a single family home. Got it under agreement in-house with our team, just cold calling, being persistent with this seller. And we found a buyer. We sold it through the ELP. We were supposed to make roughly $15,000 off the deal. So nothing crazy, nothing to
kind of
complain about either. Yeah. So we got into the deal. Things were going well. It was a 6-month term with, I think, a 6-month good faith extension. And the buyer was supposed to, we're moving forward. Things were looking good. Self-employed gentleman. I just needed some help straightening things out, getting his credit straightened out with us. And unfortunately, just could not, I think personal issues, business issues, did not like one of our lending partners. There was some issues going on there, and he was ready to walk out of the deal. I remember I was actually at the beach. I was on vacation, and he's like, "I'm leaving. I'm just leaving this deal." And I calmed him down. I was like, "Look, Anthony, you're already in this house, $10,000. You already have spent monthly payments there. You already put time and energy in this house. Let's find another way to get this still through, so you're not just walking away for money and time and energy." So he was interested if we could convert it into some kind of seller finance, owner finance situation. So I talked to one of our coaches, Rob, and we spoke to the seller. We were able to come to an agreement with them to rework the deal, extend the amount of time given, and convert it into an owner finance. And payments were still, the seller was good with that because the payments still weren't going towards the principal, but he could make chunk payments that were taking away at the equity, right? So he had, at that point, he still owed $180,000. $10,000 that was to us. At that point, we only got $5,000. $10,000 was due to us, and $70,000 or $170,000 to the seller, rather. And he got into it about $80,000 payment deep, chunk payments. And his sister called me a little over a month ago, right on my birthday, actually, and was telling me hey, we moved out of the house. I'm going to send you the keys. We're out of the house. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, my brother got locked up and his finances are frozen. And now we can't afford the house, can't make the payments in that contractual period of time now to meet the obligation. So he's like, I'm out. And she's like, I'm going to buy you new blinds to replace the new blinds. I'll put them in the house and I'll mail you the keys. And I said, okay. So we looked over the agreements, and based on how we had it written up, we made a modified owner finance just through an addendum and through the buyer and seller had them authorize that. And based on the original ELP documents and the addendum that we had in place, I could just step in and assume that equity that he chunked away at. So the seller's due still $100,000 based on that deal. Right now, I'm trying to sell it. I have it under contract or under agreement with a cash buyer at $184,000. And he's supposed to pay all closing costs, all that. So we should walk away with $84,000 if that goes through well. And that means that we would have made almost $100,000 on this property with no cash, very little cash invested. The only thing I'm doing right now is I switched the utilities over to our name. And I've made 2 monthly payments of $1,100 to keep the agreement in play. But, small price to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can walk away and recognize close to 6 figures on that deal that cost you not a nickel out of the gate. And what I love about that story, and guys, I'm hearing this for the first time. None of these deal examples we've really talked through prior to this. So again, I'm hearing it just as you are. So started off as an executive lease purchase, then turned into an owner finance, which was going to benefit the buyer. The buyer had a life hiccup, obviously, if you want to call, I guess, getting locked up and your assets frozen a hiccup. We'll go ahead and stick with that. But we never want bad things to happen to folks. But because of the agreement up front, because you had access to corporate help and your coach to help you really structure that deal from a creative standpoint up front, and you didn't anticipate it, when the bottom fell out for that buyer, you were able to slide in, assume that equity, not skip a beat, a couple monthly payments, like you said, $1,100 each, $2,200, and you're going to potentially recognize $100,000. Guys, these deals are out there. These circumstances are out there. You just have to be active. You got to show up to the trough, as we like to say, and we know that Austin and his team do every day. So great. Started as an ELP, turning into something new. We're able to pivot, rely on corporate support, and going to walk away with $100,000. Guys, if you want more deal examples like that, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button below. Austin is an absolute pro at this point, and I'm going to age you here, Austin. You said you just had a recent birthday. If you don't mind sharing with our folks just how young you are, and with all you're doing right now, guys, it just goes to show you that you don't need 20 years of experience to go out there and do this. He does have a real estate background, but what gets big paychecks for Austin is his drive and his determination, and he's just not going to give up. And he's got that plan, and he's going to continue to execute that every day. How old are you, Austin?
Just turned 25.
25 years old, guys. So whether you're 20, 25, 30, 55 watching this video, guys, he is an inspiration to everyone, myself included. I wish I would have had that drive at your age. It took me a couple years longer to kind of beat myself over the head. So let's talk about the next deal. So that was started as an ELP, executive lease purchase, ultimately turned into something else. Based on the new training and that kind of Swiss Army knife approach that's coming and trickling down from corporate, what does this next, non-lease purchase deal look like? If you can kind of walk through where the lead came from, and then kind of, inception all the way to the closing.
Sure. So the next one is a deal that I am actively flipping, fixing and flipping with another affiliate in our company out of Utah, Salt Lake City, and his name is Riley. Originally, he was trying to wholesale it to me, and he asked me, because I'm from the area, and asked my dad, because of his background, asked us to run some comps and check around, see what we thought about the house, and see if we could help him find a buyer. And ultimately wasn't able to. The price was just a little too high, and project is a little intimidating, which I'll get into in a little bit. And so ultimately that fell through. His money partner was not willing to go in help him buy it, so that fell through. So then it kind of fell dead for a little bit. I communicated with Riley a little bit off and on. But then he came back to me, and I came back to him, and I said, what if we tried to, buy this property? Like, do you think this gentleman would consider owner finance? Because, that time, that was the best option for me, and I think for him. And so we kind of pushed that with the realtor that we were working through. That was also the seller's agent. And eventually we were able to kind of come to an agreement on that. And we were going to run out a 0%, just like a flat monthly payment we were going to pay. And, it was looking great. We're just going to pay the realtor like a flat fee. And it was looking good. Eventually we got down from like 15, because originally the strike price we were going to buy was like 145, 149, got down to like 115. And then we eventually got down to 105,000, which is our eventual purchase price. Unfortunately, the gentleman, who I'm not sure is still with us or not, his children were involved. He's older, sickly, was supposed to be dying soon. And so it was like 4 or 5 children became very active, and they're like, no, we want, 20,000 down, and, we want, this type of interest rate. And So it started becoming less and less attractive. And then eventually we were trying to still work it out. And then they pulled the rug from underneath us. They're like, no more under finance, like gotta be cash. That's it. And so we kind of thought, okay, we'll give us some more time. We'll see if we can pull the money together. And our lending partner, RCN, we just hadn't fully officiated it yet, but had the green light. We were pretty much good to go. And I was like, you know what? We'll be the guinea pig with them, work with them, and kind of get this going to start the relationship between our companies. And we were able to use them, get a fairly good interest, fairly competitive interest rate, considering the type of money it is, 90% loan to value finance, and they are financing 100% of the rehab costs, which is great as well. And that was a process working with them. So we got that. We pretty much were working through that, getting that closed. Bought it, like I said, for $105,000. We had a little generous, which I was glad that we were generous with the rehab budget now, because some things have looked to be more costly, right, than we originally were anticipating. But we worked out an original rehab budget of $75,000, which they approved. So we have up to that available, where they will basically refund us that money in phases for doing that work with them. So that's interesting. And now ARV, I think the sale value, I think very, very conservatively, I would expect us to make at least 60,000, because I think worst case scenario, if we spend the whole rehab, we pay another realtor, we have closing costs, I think we'll be around 200,000, after like all that's said and done. I think we can at least sell it for 260. I think that's kind of our worst case scenario. I think our best case scenario is we come in cost basis like 180, around that 185, and we sell it for upwards of 300, which is some of the higher comps that we found. So I'm thinking we're looking at like a $60,000 to $100,000 kind of gross net profit on that flip. It is a pretty hefty flip, just for a lot of different angles, but luckily it's in my town. I have connections, with different contractors. Obviously been shopping the market, and that's what I'm actively working on right now. So I'm pretty excited and also anxious for that deal.
Yeah, no, I love that. And just goes to show again, you had a lead in, you took a look at it. I love that you are doing the deal with another one of our affiliates out in Utah, Riley. That's part of our Pink community, guys. We've got community groups with our affiliates are becoming friends. They're from all over the country. They're sharing, their experiences. They're sharing their resources. Corporates providing resources. You're able to go out there and do a deal on that. So let's call it on the low end. Let's say you did, 50, 60K there. So the last two deals that we're talking about here, conservatively, let's say 50 on that. We're looking at $150,000, utilizing zero of your own capital, obviously going out there and utilizing the resources that Pink provides. Obviously, you're a big part of bringing that to the table, and we certainly appreciate that. But you leaning on the corporate, leaning on the coaches to put these deals together, $150,000. And obviously the year is just getting going here. So let's talk about 2022 for you. And guys, if you want to be a part of an organization like this, you want to go out there and get the results that Austin and his team are getting. You want to dip your toe in the water for real estate, start to create generational wealth. Go ahead and email pink@vipfinancialeducation.com. That's pink with the color at vipfinancialeducation.com. In the subject line, put Pink Conversation, and in the body, first, last name, and the best number to reach you at. And go ahead and smash that thumbs up button if you want us to continue to bring people like Austin here that are obviously live testimonials that are getting tremendous results with Pink right now. What are you thinking for the rest of the year? Let's talk about maybe some projections, forecasting for your Pink business. And then I know that you like to invest in some other asset classes as well. What are your thoughts on real estate in general? And what else do you like that's out there right now? I know you're a big gold guy.
I am. So for this year, There's a lot of different things I want to do this year. You know, I've in the business, I have some personal, like quirky kind of goals. Like I know I was telling Scott, who's our CEO, I was telling him, you know, I'm gonna take a bartending class and get my bartending license just for the hell of it. Like, am I gonna ever use it? Who can say?
But I mean, maybe at home. You know, your friends are all all time.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's something cool, like run a 5K, you know, something else that's kind of cool, you know. So just there's a couple of quirky things I want to do.
What are you thinking for Pink just from a monetary standpoint?
So for Pink and the business for our team, the goal is to end up, let's say, with 5 doors, which I mean I could blow that out of the water, you know. But I want to get 5 doors, which right now I have a duplex that I'm rehabbing, and so that will be my first 2 doors right there that I'll be renting. So I want to get at least 3 more by the end of the year, so I'll have 5 total. Our gross revenue, which I'm trying, you know, again, we could blow this out of the water, but I think a very achievable and reasonable goal. I'm trying to hit $500,000 this year, you know, between ELP deals, FSBO flips, you know, probably 1 or 2 more regular flips, you know, whatever, all kinds of deals that have going on. But that's my goal for that. And then also the 2 guys on my team, like I said, I like to do things in-house. I like to invest in my guys. So for both of my guys, my goal for them this year, not only to make like good money and working on their schedule with me, which is what they're able to do, but also leave the year with a property. So one of my guys, Josh, he really wants to like buy a property with me. I told him I'd go in it with him 50-50. We'll take it down and we'll do Airbnb on the property. My other guy, Joe, he wants to have a rental property. So we'll find a property, we'll go in it on it 50-50, and we'll have a rental property. So that's another goal for me, not only helping myself, but also helping the guys on my team, which that gets me excited as well. Is like, man, how else can I help not only me, but how can I help those guys, you know, like help them achieve financial success. So that's my goal right now. So I'm pretty excited for it. And just getting like I said, just getting the marketing systems in place. We're transitioning a lot of different marketing stuff right now. I'm really excited to see that come into fruition, which I think it will later in the year.
Love that. And I love your goals, and those do seem achievable. I know that just from knowing you for a number of years at this point, you've been well into 6 figures for a number of years just with Pink. I love the $500,000 goal. I think that's great. I know that you give back. I know that you give back in your community, and obviously you're propping your guys up, and I'm sure that they certainly appreciate that. You're helping them change their financial futures as well while you're creating homeowners. So love that. What's your general thought on the real estate market right now? So people are watching from home, and I hear it all the time. Oh my gosh, real estate's terrifying. I don't know what to do. This is when you make money in real estate right now, is when everyone else is sitting on the sidelines. What do you say to someone that's sitting at home right now, kind of twiddling their thumbs? They've been thinking about getting into real estate for 6 or 12 months. They're scared to death. They're watching mainstream media. They're not leaving their house. What do you say to someone like that to get them off the sidelines, get them on the right track, get them motivated, and get them to make, take that next step and start making money in real estate?
All right. So my first thing is scared money. Don't make no money, right? That's right. So that's the first thing I'll say, jokingly a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the real estate market's been crazy. I mean, you don't have like you could literally be a dunce, not know anything about real estate, and you can know that just because of how crazy it's been. It's kind of a general consensus at this point. You don't have to be an expert to know that. Sure. The market. Along with, I know like how your views are, a lot of other people, investors in the community. I mean, I'm looking for a correction. We're seeing a correction slowly but surely, kind of creeping along. But I'm waiting for I don't know necessarily if it's the proportions of a 2008 correction, but I think there will be something similar. And I'm very eager. I'm very excited for those opportunities that are out there right now and that are forthcoming. So I'm trying to really just lay network out as much as I can. I'm trying to network. I'm setting up connections with, multiple realtors to be my partner around different pockets of my territory. I'm getting my guys ready. I'm getting myself ready. We're lining up money in multiple different avenues to be available for us. So we're actively pursuing deals right now, but we're excited for where the deals are going to come. And I think they are going to come in a big way, especially, you had inflation roughly 7%. Come on. We have a lot of issues economically right now, supply chain. But I would say this, for people that are interested in real estate, obviously a lot of avenues in real estate to pursue. You want something that's not conventional. You want something that you want to be with a community that's growing rapidly, with a leadership core that's really pursuing to do well by people. There's a lot of business opportunities, but some people, they don't care at all. These people, they do care. They care about you. They care about their communities that they're in. So I would say definitely give it a look, and take that leap of faith if you're trying to take your financial security in your own hands.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love what you said right there. So, you're out there doing deals right now. You're in a really good financial position, but you're just not sitting around. You're making moves. You're positioning. You're casting that net now for what is going to be happening. And again, guys, none of us can predict, obviously when that market correction is going to happen, how severe it's going to be. Inflation's through the roof. Do interest rates have to be adjusted? Is the Fed going to take that plunge, which could ultimately tank the real estate market? So there's all these question marks out there right now. But if you're not doing anything, you're not looking at the trends, you're not trying to get out in front of the trends, all of these things can ultimately come to a head and happen. But if you're not positioned and you're not prepared for them, you're not going to be one of those folks that are going to be making money. Austin, kudos to you for getting your team prepared for that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap with that, guys. We love having folks like Austin here on the channel. He's been a great success story for Little Pink Houses of America. Austin, if you don't mind, we're going to check back in with you. But it's not even February 1st at the time of recording right now, and you're already going to have about $150,000, $160,000 on the books just through Pink alone for 2022. And obviously, you've got 11 months more in front of you. So best of luck to you and your team. Can't wait to get those updates. Guys, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Smash that thumbs up. That lets us know we're on the right path to continue to bring folks like Austin here on the channel. We're going to continue to focus and feature Pink Houses of America on here. We're getting time and time again phenomenal results. Austin is a great testimonial for that. $150,000 within the first 30 days. That being said, Austin, thanks for joining us again, guys. And thanks for joining us here on the VIP Financial Education channel, folks, where we talk about all things credit, capital, cash flow. We love to feature real estate on here as well. So until next time, take care and make it a great day.
Some names and where you're from.
Bobby and Jenny Witten. We're from Knoxville, Tennessee.
What's your previous real estate experience?
So we've got some buy and hold properties. We currently have about 7 units, and we've been in real estate investing for about a year now.
Fantastic. After the last 4 days, what's the biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway from us is this is something you don't have to do alone. The staff here is incredible. They're supportive, they're knowledgeable, they're friendly, professional. We don't feel like we're doing this alone. We feel like we've got a team behind us, and that's going to make all the difference.